Black Friday, even though as the years go by and it seems like Christmas gifts and decorations keep getting put on retailer shelves earlier and earlier, you're definitely not seeing things when the Halloween candy gets replaced with stockings and fake Christmas trees. There is still one focal point that always officially kicks off the holiday season, and it's called Black Friday.
Yeah, now we all know what Black Friday represents. You're getting the best product deals of the whole year in one crazy night, hopefully before 1,000 other people beat you to it. And they might beat you to it literally, with their fists.
But that hasn't always been the case, and there's also a reason and tradition behind all the Black Friday mayhem.
That's right, there's some history to this.
Yeah.
The actual term Black Friday dates back to the 1800s, where two guys, Jay Gould and James Fisk, tried to corner the gold market on the New York Stock Exchange. Their plan backfired when the U.S. government flooded the market with $4 million worth of gold, which sent the value plummeting. This happened on Friday, September 24th, 1869, and due to the massive sudden crash in the market, it was dubbed Black Friday.
And that was the first time the term had ever really been uttered in any kind of written down, kind of saved way. So this is the first time that, at least in this country, it was heard of.
What does that have to do with smashing through the gates at your local mall?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
But we're getting there, yes. Don't worry, don't worry. Now is probably a good time to explain to you non-Americans what Thanksgiving is. It's a holiday here in the U.S. that falls on the fourth Thursday of November and commemorates a harvest feast held in the Plymouth colony in 1621.
The Plymouth colonists had arrived only a year earlier, and in that year's time, about 50 out of the original 100 or so colonists had died.
Yeah. The colonists were in way over their heads, and the local native tribes stepped in and taught the pilgrims how to grow crops and catch food. The Thanksgiving of 1621 was a huge feast attended by both the surviving Plymouth colonists and members of the Wampanoag tribe.
As America gradually became America, harvest feasts known as Thanksgivings, where friends and family would gather for one last big meal before the winter months, became a common thing, and eventually President Abe Lincoln declared it a national holiday.
Yeah. Now let's jump forward a few hundred years or so to the 1960s, or the good old days as my dad would say.
Yeah, Black Friday reared its head again in 1961 after a newsletter in Philadelphia was released referring to the day after Thanksgiving as Black Friday for the first time. And back then it was a completely negative term. Not negative like, yeah, this guy died because he got trampled while everyone was trying to get a $20 Blu-ray player negative, but...
We'll get to that.
We
promise.
It was still negative.
Yeah, this was negative because all of the merchants in downtown Philadelphia at the time were completely slammed, and there was hectic traffic jams and accidents, and it became the norm for police officers to refer to the day after Thanksgiving as Black Friday.
Now, the local merchants at the time didn't like that it had a negative connotation because the business was so good, so shortly after, a PR executive tried to change the name of the newfound holiday to Big Friday. But that sounded stupid. Yep, because it is.
It continued its usage as a negative term for the next 20 years or so, commonly being referred to as a day of headache for police officers who, despite their best efforts, couldn't control the large crowds of shoppers. And this was before there were even, quote, doorbuster deals.
What's a doorbuster?
We'll get to it.
When the 1980s came around, the term wavered a bit in its definition. Business owners were now using it to refer to their businesses being profitable thanks to Black Friday sales, and it represented the official kickoff of the holiday shopping season.
Yeah, you see, before all these high-tech computers we have, like nowadays, people would keep track of finances using good old pen and paper. Sorry if we're losing anyone under 20 here. Back then, businesses would write down their losses with red ink, hence being in the red, and profits were written in black, aka being in the black.
We're in the black.
Yeah.
So the term became a positive one for business owners as they could look forward to Black Friday as the time where their store would finally start to turn a profit thanks to the massive amount of consumers buying shit for Christmas.
Yeah. Despite what a lot of people, including the news media, would have you believe, Black Friday didn't actually become the biggest shopping day of the year until 2003, when Black Friday was a term and concept that consumers were all well aware of, not just an industry term for the beginning of the holiday shopping season.
Well, over the last 2 decades, Black Friday has gone from being a day of great shopping deals on a day when tons of people have nothing better to do than shop, to something people wait all night outdoors in the cold for, cranberry sauce and gravy still smeared across their faces. What the fuck happened there?
Yeah, so I guess it's time to talk about doorbusters and what Black Friday has become and the clever marketing strategies behind it. The term doorbuster comes from the fact that only the first people into the store are able to actually acquire the deal, aka busting through the door. It
was meant to be figuratively.
Yeah. But yeah, it turned into an actual thing.
Mr. James Cash Penny, aka J.C. Penny.
Great name.
Great name. I don't know why he shortened it. He first coined the term on January 13th, 1949 in Alabama in a Tuscaloosa news ad.
But the strategy behind it isn't just for the retail outlet to be super charitable and give you super expensive products at rock bottom prices. That'd be too nice. It's made to entice mass amounts of people to visit the retailer in hopes of getting the big discounted items. But once you're inside the store, their job's done.
Yeah.
They've done it, and they've completed their marketing strategy.
Oh, you worked hard to get in the store. Well,
we got some other stuff we have to buy.
Yeah, the whole point of this is just to get you inside. There's usually very few of the doorbuster deals actually in stock, and their hope is that once you're inside, you'll purchase one of their other products, most of which either aren't marked down at all or are showing the highest allowed retail price with a percentage knocked off, making it look like you're getting a deal, but you're most likely paying you what you would normally.
Yeah, Amazon is infamous for this shit year round. Pretty much any product you look on Amazon is shown as a certain percentage off or marked down, but that's because they're showing literally the highest amount retail price that they're allowed to show. Usually you could find that product in any store for the same price, but I'll admit I enjoy Amazon for the convenience of just getting it shipped home.
Sure.
There are cheaper options that's sometimes available, but like they do take a lot of liberty with what they think the actual retail price is versus what they're giving you.
That's business, baby. But where were we? Doorbusters. Yes, doorbusters are kind of what made Black Friday go from a relatively positive term in the 80s to a now infamous term. They are the reason there has been so much outright violence in the past 2 decades.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of people lining up outside of stores hours upon hours before they open, just so a handful of those people are lucky enough to get their hands on the most extreme deal is like filling a box with gunpowder and lighting a fuse. Something bad is bound to happen, and it most certainly has. Now we come to the violent part.
Here's just some of the recent reports of violence over the years as a result of Black Friday.
Back in 2006, 9 shoppers were injured when people rushed to grab Walmart gift certificates that were released from the ceiling.
Oh, great idea, Walmart. And then in 2008, about 2,000 shoppers in New York waited for Walmart to open its doors, and before they could, they just rushed the entrance, breaking down the door and crushing a 34-year-old employee to death.
Yep. That same year, 2 people were shot to death as they fought over products in a Toys R Us.
A Toys R Us!
Jeez.
In 2010, a woman used pepper spray on fellow shoppers so that she could get her hands on a heavily discounted Xbox 360 system.
Not worth it. 2 people were shot in 2012 during a dispute over a fucking parking space.
And just last year, a man in Vegas was shot in a botched robbery attempt as he was on his way home with a new TV from Target.
And this doesn't even scratch the surface. People are injured every single year as they push and smash their way into stores and fight over limited goods. It's perhaps for this reason that retailers have ditched the whole day after Thanksgiving pretense of the whole thing and just started opening their Black Friday sales on Thanksgiving in the evening, and even sooner online in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, at least that way they're dealing with people who just finished a day-long eating binge instead of a mob of people who've been slowly losing their minds waiting out on the sidewalk in the cold for like 12 hours for a half-price TV that they think God owes them.
In doing so, retailers are destroying a holiday and tearing families apart. Wow, we sound like conservative assholes.
Yeah.
But this is America. We buy stuff.
Yeah. You can't deal with that, just go back to fucking
out.
Russia.
I actually really enjoy, for the past couple of years I've done all of it online, but last year I went to a place, I went to the mall at midnight and experienced the whole thing firsthand, and I had a fucking blast. I didn't really buy anything, but it was great being up at like 3 o'clock in the morning watching people lose their minds. It was tons of fun.
I have never been to a Black Friday doorbuster event. I'm terrified of it. I don't like going to malls in general, and that just sounds like what I don't like about malls times 1,000. I usually go to a Walmart or Best Buy on Black Friday at like
all the deals are gone though.
Nah, you can still find stuff. I'll usually buy like an Xbox 360 controller for like $20 off. Just with random little trinkets. You're not gonna get a TV, but they got stuff.
All right, guys, let us know below any kind of crazy experiences you've had on Black Friday, and we're gonna throw a little fuel on the fire and probably do a roundup of all the best deals on our Tech Tuesday the week that comes out. So
and then probably all the best riots and fights from this year's Black Friday.
We'll scoop up all the videos of people getting trampled on from 2014 and throw them up online for you guys.
Hopefully they're just mild injuries and not deaths like all the ones we listed.
Yeah.
Don't die over a TV.
No, it's not a good idea to do that.